Hello, Panther fans, and welcome to another podcast of the Four-Man Rush. I'm your host, Timmy VO, here with Kevin and Will, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the Combine coming up, starting Thursday, stretching all the way through March 1st on Sunday. We get to join the rest of the world as they tune into NFL Network and seeing some of the upcoming badasses that are coming out of the college ranks. So we're going to continue talking about that. Last week we touched on several key positions, and this week we're going to talk a little bit more, or actually we're going to dive into the tight end position, some more on the cornerback position, and dive a little bit deeper into the offensive line positions. So hang on to your hats, folks. The Four-Man Rush podcast is about to drop some knowledge on you. So, gentlemen, do you want to start with the tight ends, offensive line, or DBs? Where should we start? Because we got all the knowledge you need.
Let's start with the tight ends. Knock that out first. The boring one. Not boring because we need one, don't we?
Yeah. We got a big ass hole.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, y'all. I've been drinking a little bit tonight. But anyway,
all right, the tight ends. I got four guys I really like. I'll start with Cole Kmet. Now let's start with my guy Harrison Bryant from Florida Atlantic. This guy's hit 1,000 yards, very productive his senior year. He kind of went under the radar, and he showed out in the Senior Bowl. He's 6'5", 243. He's got pretty decent hands, developing as a route runner, decent blocking. I mean, I'm surprised the comparisons are all over the place. I've seen Daniel Jeremiah compare him to George Kittle, which I think is a little high praise. He's still a guy I would look for the Panthers as potentially Greg Olsen's replacement, in the mid to late rounds. I think he's a little bit of a project as a blocker, but as a receiving tight end, he's got the production, he's got the size to be a mismatched weapon, line up, inside or outside, and be a good addition to the offense. The other Bryant, Hunter Bryant from Washington, a lot of people have him the best tight end in the draft. Probably the most complete tight end of the group when it comes to blocking and receiving skill set. I see him as a, early second rounder possibly. So he's another guy to look out for, probably a top 50 player. Cole Kmet, Notre Dame, 6'6", 262. And I saw him play a lot in college, Notre Dame games. So he kind of stood out to me when he was prepared when he declared for the draft as a junior. Again, another productive guy, good receiving weapon, high points the ball very well. Still developing a bit as a route runner. He adjusts to the ball, pretty good blocking. Again, still a work in process, but overall, he's another good option at this position. Thaddeus Moss, the son of Randy, he played at LSU. I think he's probably one of the more popular guys of the group. And he's another good, he played under Joe Brady at LSU, was very productive, a key part of that LSU offense. They were explosive, they had weapons, and I thought they used them very well. He's got good hands, good hops, high points the ball. Moss, you just like his pops. So, I'd love to see the Panthers, take a flyer on him in the day 2 or day 3, let him reunite with Joe Brady and be a part of this offense. And lastly, this kid, Bryson Hopkins out of Purdue. He very productive again. He had 830 yards, 7 touchdowns his senior season. We'll see how he tests. I think he's 6'4", 245. Another well-rounded tight end, can block pretty well and has, developing as a route runner and a receiver. So you got a little bit of everything in that group. You got the tall guys who can be those mismatched weapons in those creative offenses like Cole Kmet and Harrison Bryant. Think about how the Chiefs are able to employ Travis Kelce and how the 49ers are able to employ George Kittle. They line up everywhere. The Patriots with Gronkowski in earlier years, the guys would just match up nightmares and create so many mismatches against defenses. So I think tight ends in need. Ian Thomas, he'll get an opportunity, but I wouldn't mind adding one of these guys to the roster as well, to get that extra receiving weapon on the field and threaten the defense in a number of different ways.
Off next, we want to talk about the offensive line. Kevin, you were an expert at the O-line positions. What's your thoughts on some of the top of the prospects here?
Yeah, I definitely want to jump on that real quickly just to piggyback off what Will just said, a couple of late round picks that I think we should also look out for. Colby Parkinson, tight end out of Stanford. We're talking 6'7", 251. You're talking about someone who can measure up in the red zone and especially on third downs. I mean, this guy was consistently clutch and had some of the better hands in the Pac-12. He goes about, like I said, about 6'7", 251. Really good guy. And another guy that I like I saw play some in the SEC because, I like watching SEC football more than anybody else. His name is Cheyenne O'Grady. He's a tight end from out of Arkansas, 6'4", about 250. With him, just to, give you some quick numbers on him. He had 33 catches and 7 for 3 touchdowns, but majority of his catches went for either first downs or touchdowns. So he's someone that I definitely just think nice options available on day 3. So I just want to throw that in there.
Sure.
Because our fans, they love talking about big bodies and size and red zone and all this other stuff. So I just thought I'd throw those names in there just to satisfy those that like the BBWs are tight end,
Oh no.
But let me get over to
he went there.
Yeah. Well, let me jump over here to the offensive line. Split up a little bit. I'm gonna start off with the offensive tackles because let our fans tell it. Well, we don't have any tackles worth starting. So I'm gonna give you my top 5 of who I like and who instantly be an upgrade if it fell right to us. Guy I like the most myself. I'm gonna start off with Tristan Wirfs from out of Iowa. 6'5", 322 pounds. You talking about a man's man. You talking about someone that fits the mold for a big guy. What rules say looking for. We was talking about in the pregame, athletic guys with good feet. That's a guy that definitely meets that requirement. I mean, when you watch him pass block, I mean, it's like watching a thing of beauty, man. I mean, his feet are constantly moving, whether it's a quick drop, 3-step, 5-step, or 7-step. You never see him with dead feet. And his hand placements, it stalls whatever initial rush that his defender's trying to throw at him. He's got the long arms. I mean, he's just a guy that you're talking about a 10, 12-year type of guy that's going to be probably a Pro Bowl, all-pro caliber. He's definitely someone that, some of our favorites at number 7 is not there. He would be someone I think would be worthy for those that's hollering. And cool part is he could play either side, left or right. So he definitely has that position flexibility that we look for as well. Number 2 guy, probably the most popular guy amongst the 4-man rush, is Mekhi Becton out of Louisville. Again, in the pregame, he was mentioned. I know I said Tristan Wirfs, a man's man. This is a Titans man right here. We're talking 6'7", 370 pounds.
Ow! But
don't let that 370 fool you. As Will stated in the pregame, this is a guy that's dunking basketballs. So again, up under that mold of Rule wanting athletic guys that can move their feet and hands, he definitely fits that mold. He pretty much is. What stands about me is his power. I mean, when he gets his hands on you, it's a wrap. I don't care how much you finesse, how much you're going to be moved off your point. So if you can't beat him, which rarely happens to the point of attack, he's going to move you out his way. One of the things I also like about him, he's a very smart player as well. So don't just let him having size make you think there's not brains. That's included. He's someone that communicates great with the line, someone that's, engaged with a blocker, but he'll pass him off to someone else and pick up, someone else that might be coming free. So he's very instinctive about making sure he protects at all costs. I've seen a couple of plays on film where he blocks 2 guys on a pass play.
What the?
We're talking about somebody that, So we're talking about somebody that takes his pass blocking with a lot of passion here, and I like that. My number 3 offensive tackle, here for us that we talked about a lot. I know Larry was the first one to make mention of this guy. Andrew Thomas out of Georgia, 6'5", 320. Now, we're probably talking about the most athletic of all the offensive tackles in this draft. He is someone that would, that's your franchise left tackle type of player right there. Wow. I know some people are saying he would transition well to guard in the NFL because of his athleticism. Mm-hmm. But if you left him on the island and told him you're going to be one-on-one with the best pass rusher, he is someone that you're going to have a lot of confidence that he'll be able to get the job done. You know, he works great in space. Again, his hand-eye coordination is excellent. It's like he already can anticipate your top 2 or 3 moves. So whatever it is that you do, he's prepared to meet you. And by the time you do figure out how to beat him, the ball's already gone. So you didn't get your job done. Mm-mm. So he's my number 3 guy, again, out of the University of Georgia. If we're not able to grab a tackle with any one of these top 3 tackles who seem like going to be first-round tackles, you know, there's definitely some depth in the later rounds. A guy that I like is Lucas Niang out of TCU. We're talking about another big body here, 6'7", 328. He's someone that, if you're someone that watches the offensive line and enjoys someone that plays with great leverage, this is the guy right here. He definitely has good fluid hips. And for those of us that, you know, understand what that means as an offensive lineman, whatever spin move, bull rush, rip and dip, whatever you're trying to do, his hips allow him to keep the defender in front of him. So he's very rarely, you know, caught out the way. And, you know, with him being 6'7", he has tremendous wingspan. So he can definitely cover up a guy once he locks up and engages him as well. Another solid guy with a strong football IQ. And I think the most underrated part of his game is that he is someone that really takes pride in his run blocking. Like, he's the type that he wants his defender on the ground if it's a running play. You know, he's got that nastiness to him a little bit. You know, I like to call him Nasty Nang a little, you know what I'm saying, when I watched him on field, you know. So he's my number 4 guy. And finally, my 5th guy that I've looked at here, again, we got to go back to the University of Georgia, Isaiah Wilson. He's someone that played on the right side. I don't know what they're feeding them boys in Georgia, but we're talking 6'7", 340. You know, so if you're talking about putting some weight on it, yo, this is the draft. I'm telling you. Yeah, wow. This 6'7", 340, you know, and he played the right side. And Thomas was 6'5", 320 playing the left. So, you know, if we were ever to challenge Taylor Moton to decide not to move on, this would be a guy that I definitely would not mind manning the right side for us. He was a guy that wasn't talked about as much as Thomas, but was nearly just as effective. Again, very athletic. Now, there is a few questions about his game here. Sometimes he plays with what we call heavy feet. His feet do move, but they, you know, once they set, it kind of take a little bit to get him back going again. So it's like, if he keeps moving, he's fine. But once he stops moving, it's pretty much like dead weight, you know. So if there's anything from a technique side that he needs to work on, that is the fact that, you know, keep him 340 pounds moving, you know. But outside of that, you know, you really got someone that's technically sound, an instant day one starter for you on the right side at that right tackle. So, yeah, those are my 5 guys that I had at offensive tackle. Wirtz from Iowa, Becton from Louisville, Thomas from Georgia, Nang from TCU, and Wilson from out of Georgia as well. So 2 of the 5 are from them Georgia Bulldogs.
Them dogs. Them Georgia boys. Them Georgia boys. Go ahead, Will.
Yeah, just that one thing that reminded me when you mentioned Becton was what Matt Rule looks for when he scouts players. He said he doesn't draft based on position you play. He looks for traits that he feels could be developed and fit his scheme. And when I think traits, I think 6'7", 370, can dunk a basketball, freak athleticism. I mean, who wouldn't want that left tackle protecting your franchise quarterback for the next 10 years?
That's
so
where I'm going. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if he gets past the Giants, I can really see Becton being a guy that's in play at 7. So we'll keep an eye out on that. But now let's get to these cornerbacks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just seems like the Panthers have so many needs this offseason because
rebuild, man.
So many players we're losing. I mean, Bradbury not expected to re-sign with the Panthers. He's going to hit free agency and go get paid somewhere.
Yeah.
Ross Cockrell, haven't heard anything about bringing him back yet, but consistent with the trends of other veteran players like Bruce Irvin and who's the other one that was walking? Gerald McCoy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just don't get any indication that they intend on bringing these veterans back. So we're going to have a lot of holes in these secondary. So I think this draft is another good opportunity to add some talent there. Starts with Jeffrey Okudah, probably the best corner prospect in a lot since Marshawn Lattimore maybe. Okudah, that 6'1" guy, you know, long, complete corner. You know, he's very silky smooth, you know, fluid hips, great ball skills, high IQ, recognizes routes very well. He comes up, not afraid to tackle against the run. You know, man-to-man cover guy. You know, gets the jam, very smart in zone coverage, knows his responsibilities, you know, makes his proper reads. Yeah. Just a complete ball hawk. I mean, I can see this guy being a top 3 pick. I have him probably a top 5 player in this entire draft. A lot of that's going to depend on what Detroit does. They want to go Derek Brown. They have the same needs as us, so they want to go Derek Brown and take a defensive tackle, or if in that case, you know, Okudah may slip to 7. We may get our franchise cornerback. You know, think about the division we play in. You know, we got to play these teams twice a year. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans in Tampa, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley in Atlanta, Mike Thomas in New Orleans. And word is they want to draft a wide receiver this year. So even more weapons on that New Orleans squad. So having a guy like Okudah to be able to deal with our South rivals, you know, that's going to do wonders for us. So I think Okudah's definitely going to be in play at 7. If he falls, I don't think he gets past Carolina. I think there's definitely somebody that's in place. Number 2, C.J. Henderson from out of Florida. I mean, he's got similar skill set. I don't think he's on that level of Okudah. I think he's a day 1 starter, though. You know, he's very fluid, good athlete, strong in press coverage, you know, sound technique, good ball skills, makes a lot of plays on the ball. Not inconsistent tackler, though. I mean, I don't really prioritize tackling with corners like most do. You know, like Deion said, I don't get paid to tackle. So
this is a passing league
anyway. So, I mean, I think just off his coverage ability, that's another guy, you know, I look forward to seeing. Jeff Gladney out of TCU, another guy I think is real solid. You know, later if we aren't able to get Okudah or Henderson in round 1, you know, Gladney's a guy we might be able to get on day 2. You know, good instincts in zone coverage, big hitter, not afraid to, you know, hit somebody. You know, we'll see how he tests athletically. I think he's got an opportunity at this combine to rise his draft stock up a bit and maybe sneak into that late 1st or early 2nd. So we'll see how that goes. Another guy, yes, Monty put us on this guy, Cameron Dantzler from Mississippi State. No, he's a long corner. You know, he's going to probably best fit. You know, he played against Jamar Chase in LSU, who's probably going to be the top 5 prospect next year, number 1 receiver prospect. And Cam Dantzler held his own. You know, he's, again, good ball skills, long corner, physical, not afraid to come up and hit somebody. And he's just rising up draft boards recently. I think he'll be very impressive at the combine when they're able to see his feet and length. So he'll be impressive. Maybe sneak into that late 1st, early 2nd as well. And lastly, let's see, I might just be a homer here and call out Bryce Hall out of Virginia. I'll go 2. I'll go 6 because I like this other guy too. I'll get to. But Bryce Hall out of Virginia, he tore his ACL, so he didn't get to finish his season. Wow. So he was projected like a top 15 pick in the preseason, but he's a big corner. Might be able to convert to safety. He's high IQ, smart guy. Probably would fit best in a zone scheme where he can just read the routes, you know, look at the quarterback, make plays on the ball. So he's I think he's like 6'3", 6'4". So that's just see the kind of height you get there for a cornerback. So I mean, we need a guy to match up with those big receivers we got in the South. I mean, that could be a day 2 option depending on how his knees recovered since that ACL tear.
Mm-hmm.
And number 6, I just couldn't leave him off because I think he's just talented as well as Christian Fulton out of LSU, DBU. Again, corners from LSU, they always come out technically sound. I mean, they're disciplined. They make plays on the ball. LSU requires them to play a lot of man coverage, leaves their guys on islands. So he does all that stuff. I think his weakness is top-end speed. He'll have to show out at the combine. I think this is a guy where the 40-yard dash is important. If he can show the kind of speed he has, maybe he can sneak into that first round or early second. So it's another guy, I really like at that cornerback position. So keep an eye on these guys. With the loss of James Bradbury, we're going to need one of these guys to step in and help defend these NFC South receivers.
Hey, Will, real quick, 2 things real quick I wanted to ask you. It's funny that you brought up your boy from Virginia. I was looking on the Draft Network, and guess who his NFL style is compared to?
Who, Bradbury?
Bradbury, yeah.
Tall. What is he, 6'4", 6'3"? Like,
he's coming in at, according to them, they're saying 6'1", 200.
6'1"? Oh, he look a lot bigger. Okay.
Yeah, you get the
long size, same size as Bradbury.
Same size, yeah.
Very similar game. Zone corner, long, smart, good instincts. We'll see how he tests athletically, but I think that's a good comparison, actually.
Yeah, and another thing, you were saying ACL, but all 3 of their scouts saying it wasn't an ACL, it was an ankle injury that limited him to 6 games his senior season. But again, you followed him, so I didn't know if
that might be it. I know he got hurt against the Miami game because it was down here. So I just saw him get carted off the field. I didn't know the extent of the injury. I knew he got hurt against Miami, carted off the field, and the season was over. So, hopefully he's healed, though. I think he's a solid prospect.
Okay, and the other guy, the second question I want to ask you, the other cornerback at Ohio State, I know if you checked them out while watching Okuda, Damon Arnett, I kind of stumbled across him, when I was kind of just scouting around for corner once I found out Bradbury was likely not to change. I mean, they're looking at him as a possible first, second round type of guy. They saying he's the prototypical lockdown, physical, man-to-man type of guy. And I didn't know if you had a chance to look at him a little bit, but I was going to ask you, since you was checking out Okuda at Ohio State, did this guy pop out on film when you looked at him as well?
Yeah, he's solid as well. You look at Ohio State corners in general, since Marshawn Lattimore, Denzel Ward, now you got Okuda and this guy coming out. So, they had an argument themselves. They might be replacing LSU as DBU one day. But again, he's a guy, they ask their corners to play a lot of man coverage. They're fluid, physical at the line of scrimmage, good ball skills. They compete. So, that's another option there. It's talk about how deep this receiver class is. We just listed off 7 cornerbacks that are potentially day 1, day 2 picks.
Yep.
Yeah, look, we didn't
top 64. So
and we didn't even mention the local guy from Clemson, AJ Terrell.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, he had a rough day against the Jamar Chase.
Oh dude,
it's not fair to judge him off that one game.
It's not.
Chase was eating against everybody, but
God.
that game gonna come up in the film, I'm sure. But he had a rough day. He was a first round pick, considered by a lot of people heading into that championship game. But man, that just wasn't his nightmare. But I can't knock him. They had him on an island, no safety help. You get beat once or twice like that, help the kid out. Put some safety, roll that safety over the top, or do a 2 deep safeties.
Yeah.
I guess if you play too deep against LSU, though, they just beat you underneath.
That's the thing.
There's so many ways to attack you, man.
Yeah. Then you have that little running back coming out the backfield, and then you got Moss, and it's just too much.
Yeah, they got his NFL comparison on the Draft Network as Dre Kirkpatrick, the one that came out of, I think it was Alabama a couple years ago.
Yeah, Dre not really an elite guy, but he's serviceable. How many consecutive years he been starting for the Bengals? Get you a starter in day 2, day 3, that's a success.
True.
I thought he was the guy that got drafted by Miami and then they traded him to Pittsburgh. I thought that was that guy, Kirkpatrick.
That's Minka Fitzpatrick, the safety nickel guy from Alabama. Drake Kirkpatrick, the corner from Alabama.
Oh, okay. I got him mixed up now.
So Drake Kirkpatrick was on the old, remember when Bengals used to be good? They had Burfict, Drake Kirkpatrick, Pac-Man Jones, all them guys on that defense.
I remember that. They were nice. Actually, their secondary is pretty tough, man.
Yeah, they miss Marvin Lewis now. With them
that's true.
Playoff wasn't winning in the playoffs, but I bet they missed getting to the playoffs in the first place. Now they picking number 1 in the draft.
Playoffs? Yeah, man. Hey, it's a small window in the NFL, folks. You better get it while you can. Good Lord of mercy. That's why we were rebuilding. Damn it. Well, let's see. Tight ends, corners, offensive linemen. Well, I think we covered all we're supposed to.
Well, I got to get the interior lineman.
Oh yes, the inner linemen, guard centers. Please, sir. My bad.
Nah, you good. You good. So, we're talking about how deep this draft is. I mean, again, this is a position, interior lineman, that, I'm looking at 10 or 12 guys that we could get day 2, day 3 possibly, and would definitely fill a need. So, I'm going to do like Will did. I got a 6-pack for these guys because since we're looking at both center and guard, I want to give you, some options, for all sides because, even though Trey Turner, is our Pro Bowl consummate and he's not old per se in age, but, I noticed last couple of years his body kind of taken away a few games now. So, I know we still own some money, but it's good to look at someone that, when his contract up in a couple more years to possibly, slide off in. So here we go. For me, number 1 guy that stands out, I mean, I'm going up under I like to call it the rule of thumb, athletes with high IQ.
Yes,
I'm going, we got to go back to the Bayou. We got to go back to LSU, Lloyd Cushenberry III. We're talking about easily, and I want to say easily, the most athletic center guard prospect that's out here. He's someone that you want to talk about can move quick, fast, and in a hurry, and he brings power with that quickness. So not only does he get up on you fast, but he gets up on you fast and strong. He's someone that has excellent hands, very few penalties throughout his career. I think total, I don't think he has 10 penalties throughout his whole career at LSU. And we're talking about someone that's coming out as a redshirt junior. So he got him 3 good years in. So 3 years and not even 10 penalties. Yeah, I'll take that. So he's someone that's that definitely gets a good initial punch, can pull a lot. His pulling ability, I'm going to be honest, kind of reminds me of how Ryan Khalil was when he was coming out of USC. And that was one of the reasons why we drafted him, was his ability to move and get to that next level. So whether it's a big bulky nose tackle or a one technique shaded off to the side, he's a guy that uses his athletic ability and his power to allow him to take advantage. One of the knocks on him is that he is kind of raw and he could use, some refinement. But again, this is where, Matt Rule said he thrives. If you want athletes with a high IQ, this guy right here, he will allow us to have a center for the next 10 years easily. And also he can play some guard as well if need be. Played mostly center, but has played some guard, in a pinch as well. So, again, that position flexibility. So Lloyd Cushenberry III is my number 1. My number 2, again, me and Larry talk about the trenches all the time. This is the guy he put me on to. Nick Harris, offensive lineman out of University of Washington, 6'1", 293. Real quickly, back to Cushenberry, his metrics, 6'3", 312. So, nice, big, solid body with Cushenberry. But Nick Harris, we're talking about someone that probably the most technique sound guy in this draft. He's someone that really, as a positional blocker, like getting his head on the right side and getting his hand placements, he definitely knows how to work the angles of executing his block. It's really like watching a magician move a player out the way. He's someone that definitely knows how to seal lanes. His feet, they never get left behind. I mean, he's someone that is moving. He's, like I say, you won't see him with slow feet. You'll never catch grass going up under his feet. I love the fact that when he does his pass sets, he easily slides left to right. There's no hesitation. There's no delay with it. Is wherever you're trying to go, he's there. He's got a very strong leverage, a strong core. He's someone that sinks his hips real good to hunker down. So you may get a good initial pop or two, but you're not getting too much more after that, on a pass set. And since he was a 3-year starter, he played like about a 60-40 rep center at guard. So 6% he was at guard, 60% he was at center, 40% of his reps he was at guard. So again, that position, flexibility with Greg Van Roten being a free agent and could possibly leave for a big payday. And, with the unknown, if Paradis can recover from his injuries, again, someone that could fill in at either position, he definitely would be key. So that's Nick Harris out of Washington. That's my number 2 guy. Number 3 guy was someone that who contemplated coming out last year but went back. That's Tyler Biadiz out of Wisconsin. We're talking 6'3", 321. One of them good old big old country boys up there in Wisconsin. They grow them like they grow them big bellies down there in Alabama's LSU. Wisconsin is, for the last 10, 15 years have always had those big roll grading linemen that just moves people out the way. He's someone that when I think about him, Biadiz, we're talking about someone that's technically sound. He reminds me a lot of Bradbury that came out of North Carolina State last year that I believe got drafted by the Minnesota Vikings. When watching him on film, he's someone that reminds me of him. Again, a very smart player, someone that also gets good hand and eye placement, someone that wasn't penalized that much as well, but he has a very strong grip. He's someone that, again, when he latches onto you, you're moving. There's no shucking him or throwing him off because he always makes sure that he wins the leverage battle. Again, very technically sound. So he was someone that can also get to the second level pretty good as well. Again, taking good angles is something that seems to be his calling card. If there was to be a knock on his game here, it would be the fact that sometimes he struggled with playing with too wide of a base. And, sometimes if you get your feet set too wide, someone can, if your leverage is not straight, someone can get up in your chest and push you back. So that would be something that can be fixed with good coaching or whatever. But that would be my number 3 guy. Is Tyler Biadiz out of Wisconsin. My number 4 guy, I would probably say is my man crush out of this draft if we were to go interior lineman, and that's Nitain Muti out of Fresno State, 6'3", 307. What I like about him is if you like nasty, spit in your face, put your man down on the ground and make sure he eat dirt type of player, this is your guy. We're talking about someone who plays with high aggression at all times. What I like about him, he's a left-sided player. He plays left guard, but he can also play left tackle as well. His football IQ is also very high. There was some games where he was rotating both positions and played them very well. So if you're a fan of someone that plays with nasty aggression and gets after it and blocks into the whistle, this is a guy that you'll definitely like. What I like about him is the fact that aggression, he controls it. Some guys play out of control. But with him, his aggression it's like channeling energy through a tube, and it's just gonna come out and just bam, hit you in the face. And next thing you know, you got this 320-pound guy over you telling you that you ain't shit. You remember that scene from The Blind Side where he was blocking dude all the way down the field? There's some plays where he's blocking his guy 5, 6, 7 yards down the field on the opposite side. Like, go that way, man. So, yeah, Nitan Muti, my number 4 guy, he's someone that I definitely like as well. My number 5 guy, I got to go back up to the Pac-12 from out of Oregon. A kid by the name of Shane Lemieux. Again, reminds you of Wisconsin boys, 6'4", 316 pounds. What I like about him, he was probably one of the better protectors of Justin Herbert, the quarterback that's getting a lot of hype and praise, heading into the combine here. Now, as far as athleticism, he's athletic, but he's not super athletic, but he's athletic enough to get the job done. He's someone that you can tell that he's really zoned in and focused. Like, very rarely is he like caught out of position. What I notice about him is he picks up stunts and twists very well. Like, you very rarely will, he get caught off guard. Like, if you see the man in front of him go one direction, he'll check him, but his head is on a swivel looking for that other guy to come the other direction. So he's someone that studies a lot of film on stunts and twists, and he picks them up very effectively. But he's someone that plays with a very good discipline as well. Again, not a lot of penalties. I believe, let me take a look here. As a senior, he had only 9 penalties in his 4 years. So, someone that plays with discipline, that's
hell yeah.
Yeah, that's set. Now, I will say, if there's anything he needs to work on is becoming a little bit more better pass blocker. He's decent, but run blocking is his bread and butter. But he can definitely use some work on his pass blocking as far as keeping his feet moving. With linemen, that's so important to keep your feet moving. You can have leverage, you can have good hand placement, but if your feet are not moving, with the speed and athletic of these defensive linemen, and it's a wrap. You'll have a smaller guy beating you every time if you got dead feet. So that's something to look at. So he's my number 5 guy, Shane Lemieux out of Oregon. And lastly, number 6, wow, we got to go back to that school back in Georgia. Another guy who put us on to Solomon Kinley. You're going to love these numbers, Tim. 6'4", 336.
Anchor.
You're talking about a homegrown belly? Like, bruh. Man, he's someone that
Buddha.
Him and Andrew Thomas was on played on the same side, and let's just say if you was lined up against him, you was in for a long day. I'm trying to tell you, he's someone that his initial pop is what stands out when he's blocking. Not only is he firing off low, but his hand is just like neutralizing, and it's making his defender react. And while the defender is reacting, he's moving them out the way. So it's almost like he hits them with a type of force that kind of throws them off, but allows him to take advantage. So he's someone that I definitely like about him. Again, plays hard, plays to the whistle, got some nasty to him as well. He could be a little bit better with his side-to-side movement. A guy that size doesn't exactly move that quick usually. Not everybody's a Becton and, can dunk a ball or whatever, but he's someone that held his own. If you remember the top 3 pick last year, Quinnen Williams from out of Alabama, when Georgia played Alabama in the championship, the SEC championship game when they played him, he was left one-on-one with Quinnen Williams and held his own. So that's pretty impressive. So those are my 6 guys in the interior that I think that are going to make impact plays. I can see most of these guys being day one starters. A couple of them could challenge, would be great guys to develop. But overall, man, this draft, as far as interior lineman goes, and even, tackles, wherever going to invest in an offensive line, this would be the draft to do so.
Great breakdown, Kev. Yeah, man. There's some studs on our O-line, bro. Love it. Yeah, I don't know how Georgia didn't put up more points with that type of O-lineman up in front of him, man. God almighty, bro. Jesus.
That offensive coordinator was terrible. They not creative. He abandons the run at the worst time. Yeah. They blew so many games down the stretch from bad play calling. Frustrating to watch. They got a lot of good players coming out too. When a quarterback, Fromm's gonna get drafted. DeAndre Swift's the best running back, but offensive line, one of the best in the country. They just coaching.
There you go, folks. There you go. This is why you don't play games when you bring a coach in. Coach Rule. Stay tuned, Panther fans. Stay tuned. Oh, man. So, now that we've given you all the information about the upcoming combine, make sure you check it out Thursday through Sunday. Hopefully you'll take these notes from the past, from this podcast and the previous podcast. And compare notes, man. See what you see, and give us some idea of how it panned out. We always love to hear from you guys anyway, so feel free to communicate. Now next week, it's gonna be interesting because we'll have all the information in. Well, except for Cam, we'll have all the information in. We've had chance to break down all the news and how many new drills? You said 16 new drills, Kev? Was it 16?
Yeah, it's 16 new drills that's gonna be done at the combine. And I didn't read through all of them because I was busy at work. But Will was touching on some of the new additional drills. If you want to share some of that with them, Will?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I know. I was just following the quarterbacks. They're not gonna. They're sort of doing, they do the slant routes, the deep outs, the 9 routes. They're going to have to try to do red zone, back shoulder fades, since that's becoming such a, popular play in the end zones. We're going to see, and other skills, quarterbacks got to show and prove. I think that'll be interesting. I think I really want to see Jalen Hurts put on the show this week. I just hate the questions he's getting from press about playing running back, wide receiver, and all of that.
That drives me nuts, man. The kid was good enough to be a full scholarship, full ride scholarship to 2, not 1, but 2 of the top programs in the country. The kid can obviously play quarterback. Quit playing games, folks. God almighty. Let the boy play, man. You see these quarterbacks on these teams right now. Stop. He could probably there's a couple things I think he can probably go ahead and just walk on the team right now and just go ahead and just start. But anyway.
Man, I say it right now, he would have started for the Panthers last year.
There you go. I mean, don't be a homer, folks. Darn good and well, Jalen could just go ahead and just take that position right now. I mean, imagine him and CMC in the backfield. I'm just saying. Well, with this old line, I don't know. He probably got killed. Anyway, any more parting shots, fellas? We good?
Yeah, I was on one thing to say. Panther Nation been on the edge all off season.
Uh-oh.
So I gotta realize your quarterback Cam, he's not healthy right now. There's a lot of speculation going on. I try to avoid it. Consider all scenarios. I mean, nothing can really happen until he gets healthy. And I think with the news released today, that's not going to be until June, July, and possibly August. So we're intentionally avoiding that topic on our podcast because I don't think there's any real news. I think everyone's trying to be first to get a story out, but I don't care if it's positive or negative. It's not really news until he's healthy and we decide what we want to do from there. So I just think just enjoy these combines, watch the XFL, play some golf or something, find out about Cam soon enough. But right now, just fall back, man. Let the guy rehab, get healthy, get motivated, find that new love for football, and he'll be ready to go in September when it matters.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you on that one, man. Just slow your roll, folks. We got a long way to go. He has a long way to go. There's still contract negotiations going on. He's on IR. That he's not going anywhere right now, folks. Just chill. Just chill. Who knows?
Yeah. And another thing is, when y'all see these articles, like the media knows anything with Cam Newton is going to get read and clicked.
Yeah.
So, one thing I would tell people to do is consider the source where you see some of these ads, these articles coming from.
Exactly.
I'm seeing people posting it like it's the gospel truth. Like, for example, this one called Yard Barker. That's ran by a guy that's a 49ers fan living in California. Hasn't spoken with anybody in the Panthers organization, but have been putting out numerous Cam Newton articles, and people are taking it as gospel truth because why? It's on the internet. So it must be true.
Yeah, it must be true.
What they do is they allow their fans to write their articles, and they choose the best ones and post them. So fans, not media, not people with press credentials. That's you fans are just out there posting it and getting yourself all in a tizzy, whether you're with Cam or against Cam. Just take a deep breath and relax. And another thing at the presser that Rule said, he said, I don't think it'll take that long, but, I don't care if Cam Newton's not ready, as long as he's ready by September. So I think the fact that Matt Rule is, seems to be anticipating that whatever it takes to get Cam healthy is worth waiting for. And, and if the coach can be that patient, maybe we should take a page out of it and then be that patient. Like I say, find something else to do with all this energy. There's several other holes, there's several other issues with this team that need to be addressed, I think, with a higher sense of urgency than quarterback. Because if you got a healthy quarterback, but none of these other problems are fixed, then, you're going to get the same, if not worse, results.
Yep. Well said, man. Chill out, fans. It's going to be all right. Eyes open, ears open, mouth closed. Now, oh, man. But yeah, just be on the lookout, folks. It'll come to you soon enough. Otherwise, just enjoy the combine and enjoy your life at this point. And, of course, enjoy this podcast. This is the 47th podcast. We're coming up on that 50. Coming up on that 50. And we appreciate you guys listening to us, man. It's gonna be good things to come, definitely. So, once again, thanks to you kind folks for checking out the Four-Man Rush podcast. Whether you're listening to this podcast in the morning, afternoon, or evening, we are sure as hell glad that you're listening and checking us out. Be sure to run on over to our website, www.the4manrush.com. That is the4manrush.com. We have wonderful articles. None of that BS fluff that's floating around out there. This is straight up Panther news from some of the best sources that you can find that's not actually in the Panther organization. We have connections in the organization, but we're not going to say anything about that. But that's why you don't see a lot of bullshit coming from us. We don't have to. Dig it. But yeah, thanks guys. Yeah, check out our social media platforms too, by the way. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. You can find some great information there. TikTok, got a couple of videos popping up there. We're going to be going, balls to the wall, excuse my phrase, on TikTok when we get some more content to put out there in terms of, player personnel, practices, all that cool stuff. So, but anyway, but yeah, thanks guys. Hope you guys have a good one. Take care of yourself. Take care of those around you. And as always, keep pounding. Clear.
Hey, Marty doing an interview this week too?
Herney?